Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Max Sports. It's a beautiful Friday morning. The Martin Houston Show, talking Alabama sports with Martin Houston and Sound Alabama Sports. Your show, your team. The playbook for today is a free-for-all Flashback Friday. We have some more roster management recruiting news. We didn't get to that with Max Recruiting. Find that on the X at Max_recruiting. We have the Bama Final Four conversation, 3-point shot. What 3 things Alabama needs to do if they're going to win. And then football talk, scrimmage number 2. We got a question of the day, and we'll work that into the conversation. Remember that you can always join the conversation on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. Or comment, react, our questions in the live stream, and we'll work it into the conversation. We appreciate you doing that each and every day. And remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Once again, tune into the Martin Houston Show podcast, live streaming every Monday through Friday from 6 to 7. We have great conversation, great interaction with you guys, and so appreciate all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. Well, tomorrow is the big day for Alabama sports. So you got the 3-point shot, but also have a complete this statement segment, give you a chance to respond to that. And we'll complete these statements in the second quarter, or well, we can't say second half. Men's basketball needs to go to periods or quarters like every other level of basketball. And then that way I could say in the second period during basketball season, second quarter during football season. But complete this statement. Bama plays for a natty if. Bama plays for a natty if. Share your answer in chat or call us on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904. Complete that statement for us. And then go ahead and tease you for football. The question of the day for football is, what is your biggest concern for Alabama football with spring practice on the horizon? What's your biggest question for tomorrow? What do you hope to hear coming out of spring? So lots of conversation to get to. But let's go ahead and get to maybe a little conversation from yesterday. I sometimes after I go off the show, I have to think, and sometimes I come back and have to right the ship a little bit. I have 2 things from yesterday. Paul, who listens on the app, I think from Prattville, sent a message to me and said that he heard my passionate rant about Jalen Milroe, and and calling names to those who disagree with me about Jalen. And I'm gonna apologize for using the term. I think I used the term idiot, but I am still going to stick with the following. I apologize for I hate that, and I should not have done it, and I do want to apologize. But I still this is not about disagreeing with people, because Jalen Milroe has to grow and has to continue to grow. But when you watch a play and all you watch is the catch, you don't understand football. You don't understand when you hear statement, he hasn't grown anymore. He hasn't matured. He hasn't gotten better. And you refuse to look at that play, because if you look at the play, and this is where a lot of people watch football actually, they don't watch the play. They watch a guy, they're in the stands and they see a receiver wide open, and they don't know what's going on in the quarterback's backfield. So that's what I was addressing. So it's the people I'm talking to are the venomous people who refuse. Brady. I didn't like, and so it was really hard. But I would never get on here and say Tom Brady wasn't a great quarterback. I mean, it just wouldn't come out of my mouth, because I would show that I don't understand football. I could say he's slow. I could say he didn't have a great arm. I could analyze things that he didn't do, but to just refuse to recognize what he did would be showing that I don't really understand. And on that play to Prentice, Jalen Milroe had Deontay Lawson, who undoubtedly came unblocked. Must have been a blitz or a stunt or something, because what we don't see is this, X. Jalen Milroe wears a black jersey. In a normal situation, full speed situation, Jalen Milroe probably would have been sacked, hit, or running. But because they can't hit the quarterback, he must have came free, because he was in his face. When you look at the camera goes to Prentice, and then when it goes back for a second, you see Deontay Lawson like this and Jalen throws the ball at an angle around his arm. Ball should have been knocked down. He should have been sacked, etc. That was my frustration. And Paul, thank you for calling me out and making sure that I don't lose my witness and my testimony. So I have no issues with that. I got one other thing that I want to talk about, and I'll do it on the other side, because I want to give you a chance to actually take these last few minutes and talk a little bit about recruiting. But my comment in the second quarter is I want to talk a little bit more about Parker Bressel and what I believe. I've had some time to think about some of that conversation. So stay tuned. We'll talk more about that. X, give us a little update on what's happening in the recruiting world.
Yeah, looking at recruiting, Alabama has made some guys final lists, or as they've cut down to fewer schools, and one of those is 4-star tight end Deshaun Bram out of Kansas. Alabama has made his top 6, and this is a big athletic tight end, 6'4", 6'5", about 240 already. He had a junior season where he had 46 catches for 942 yards and 13 touchdowns. Kind of that prototypical tight end that we're seeing take over the game. Can be an inline blocker, but is a very good receiver. He's got Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee, Oregon, Alabama, Oklahoma in his top 6. I think Alabama sits pretty good as of right now, looking to land him. Also have offer out to 2026 tight end Max Sutter out of Illinois, 6'6", 220, same type of athlete. Tight end position and wide receiver position really seems to be what Alabama's focusing on in the next two classes with a lot of their offers are going to. You have 2026 wide receiver Ryan Mosley out of Carrollton, Georgia, former teammate of Caleb Odom, and of course 2025 quarterback that Alabama is pursuing heavily, Juju Lewis, as a 4-star 2025 wide receiver, Quanell Farcon Jr. He has released his top 3 out of Texas. It's Alabama, Texas A&M, and Nebraska. So that's, like I said, wide receiver is really, really big in the next two classes that Bama's going after. 2025 running back Bo Jackson out of Ohio. He released his top 12, which Alabama is in. He's 6'1", 190, really good athlete. And an interesting one to kind of wrap up some of these new offers is Alabama has extended an offer to Wagner College transfer tight end Justin Wolf. He's a New York native. He spent 3 seasons at Wagner, and he only had 7 catches for 55 yards and 1 touchdown. But he's a primary blocker, really good inline, reminds you a lot of Robbie Oots. So this would potentially be the second transfer tight end that Alabama's taking. So keep an eye out on that, and that means we could be losing a tight end or 2 to the portal once the spring window opens. So that's something to keep an eye on.
All right. Coming back on the other side, we'll keep it going. If you want to stay connected with the recruiting, Max Recruiting, Max_recruiting on Twitter. Appreciate you guys getting up and at 'em with us this morning. We have a couple different things going. Complete this statement. Bama plays for a natty if. Share your answer in chat or call us on the Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, and you can call us up and tell us what Bama needs to do, or you can give us your 3-point shot. What 3 things Bama needs to do to win? Also, we got a question of the day, and that is, what is your biggest concern for Alabama football with spring practice looming on tomorrow? So we can talk about that as well. And coming back on the other side, I am going to just quickly hit and give some thoughts to the Parker Brailsfield scenario. What am I going to say? I may kind of reposition myself a little bit after I thought about something that I heard, it said, and then something that hasn't happened. What am I talking about? You have to stay tuned and be back on the other side to hear exactly what my thoughts are. We'll be back in just a moment to keep it rolling right here on your home for Alabama Sports Talk, 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Quiet for your Friday morning out there. Highway 69 traffic, 9 minutes both directions between County Highway 56 and 15th Street through the I-20, I-59 interchange. Problem free there. Same goes for your I-359 traffic flow. And Highway 82, it's a 9-minute ride between Jack Warner Parkway and Airport Road. I'm Joshua Delsh.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up.
Townsend Nissan is your #1 dealer, and they'll beat any written offer or pay you $1,000. Keeping you #1 keeps Townsend Nissan #1. See dealer for details.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't really growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are here for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Taco Bell just dropped the new Cravings Value Menu. Now you can get 10 items for $3 or less, which means you can get the food you want for the price you want. It's almost like you can have your cake and eat it too. But in this case, it's a double-stacked taco from the new Cravings Value Menu. So basically, you can have your double-stacked taco and eat it too, which is a lot crunchier than cake. The new Cravings Value Menu is here. Get it at Taco Bell today. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for price and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Weather brought to you by Tidwell Chiropractic, the only third-generation chiropractor with over 26 years experience in Tuscaloosa. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-2503.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays cool and dry today. The sky sunny, the high 65. Clear tonight, some scattered frost possible early tomorrow morning, the low at 39. Tomorrow sunny with a high at 69. Sunday partly sunny, the high at 76. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 65 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9, 1230 a.m. WTBC. Glad you've chosen to join us this morning. Want to invite you to keep the conversation rolling right here. Want you to jump in on it. We're going to try to get a little bit of that audio from yesterday from Nick Sheridan. If I can get that, I'll bring it back in. But if not, I just want the question was asked about him and in that position, X. And we started hearing last week that he was out, that he was gone, and then he didn't practice, and then he hadn't practiced, and so it makes you easily lean toward him leaving, right? But the coach said that they were competing. So I started thinking, is the coach just doing coach speak, or is he being sincere? And then I thought about Alabama basketball, and I thought about Nick Pringle and him not traveling with the team when they first went to Spokane. And your first thought when they first went to Spokane was what? Nick Pringle's in trouble again. That's to be honest, right? When he didn't make it to travel with the team, your first thought is he's in trouble and blah, blah. But come to find out, he had something else going on off the field that had nothing to do with football. And Virgil Williams said that there could be a lot of other off-the-field things, not a good fit, et So Parker makes a transition all the way across the country. And just maybe if what Coach Sheridan said is true, that he was competing right up until that moment before all of the conversation started, and the fact that it's a new school, new community, new area, is it possible that he just may have a lot going on right now and he's not going anywhere? Because we've not heard anything from him. So maybe he's not going anywhere. So I'm just throwing that back out there because it would make more sense that a starter would stay and fight than jump ship immediately. So I guess I'm giving myself some wiggle room. Your thoughts before we get to a couple comments on Bama wins a natty and then we'll talk about the 3-point shot.
I mean, that's always a possibility for the situation, but would you consider him a starter here? He was a starter at Washington, but he's not a starter at Bama.
He was slotted number 1. He was never the number 2 guy. That was just like my senior year. Was I ever a starter in 3 years before my senior year?
No.
But how would you have viewed me? I played in every game of my career, right? So that it was just one guy was here before me, and he was a great player in Kevin Turner. So that's what I mean by this guy was a starter where he was at. He comes here. He hadn't forgot how to play football. And some people say he's too small, etc. And I go back and I say, well, he did better against against Michigan than our center did. So, and Texas. So the size and all that stuff didn't affect him there. So like I said, since we've not heard anything from him. And the coach, like I said, I keep going back to that. I mean, that makes you look really bad if you say a guy's competing and he's fighting and he's a great guy and blah, 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 blah. And then the next day he goes into the portal. Because the reality of it is, if he's in the portal, it happened right after that statement. And I just thought about it a little bit more, and so yeah, we'll see. Justin, what's your thoughts, really quick?
Yeah, it is weird. I'm leaning more towards the idea that it's coach speak, and Christian Miller yesterday or 2 days ago, he's around the building, former player. He seems to think that it's almost a guarantee that Parker Brailsford's going to be into the portal. But then, like you said, Coach Sheridan is out there. Oh, they're competing. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Strangely enough, I think we're going to be okay regardless of whichever starter we have.
I think it becomes a depth issue. In terms of the position, because both of them can't start, and so the way I look at it is if Brailsfield could become the answer to a whole lot more, guys. Brailsfield could become the starting center. Brockemeyer could possibly move to a guard, and one of those guards move to a tackle. Because both of our guards are so athletic. If Tyler Booker slimmed down a little bit, man, I wanted him to be tackled anyway. I thought I look at it, man, let me tell you what I would do, and then we'll get to basketball. I would take Booker and put that joker on the right side of Jordan Roberts, and I dare you to stop us running the ball on the right side. Those two guys, man, I love the way they play. I love their tenacity. I love everything about them. They're two of my favorite players amongst all of the Alabama players, just because of who they are and the way they approach the game. Kind of remind me of an old fullback mentality. So tenacious and hard hitting. So I like those guys. All right. So a couple comments and we'll get to let's go ahead and get to J-Rob. J-Rob, thanks for your patience, sir. You're on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. You had some comments about basketball.
Happy Friday, Roll Tide,
Happy
guys.
Friday, Roll Tide, man.
Happy Friday, Roll Tide.
Well, that Brailsford guy first, I wanted to say just from selfishly for a depth standpoint, because we need depth at that position, like Martin said, and I just hate for a guy to come in and out of the portal like that, like hip hopscotch, man. It's I guess that's the world we live in now, but I don't really care for it too much. There's no loyalty to anybody. But the 3 points, I think Alabama wins the 3 points if they play fast, make shots, and play the best defensive game they've had all year. That's how I think we can win the basketball game.
One more time. What's your 3-point shot?
Make shots. Well, wait a minute. Play fast. make shots, and play the best defense they play all year.
Let me tell you. Let me give you a stat that Nate Oates said against North Carolina, Alabama, and now he was down to the detail, but it was below 0.9. I don't know what that means. I don't really know what that means, but I know it's a stat that he measures. And against North Carolina, we were
per trip down the floor. Per trip down the floor is what that was. I thought.
Well, yeah. I think it's how many points they get per possession or something like that. But I'm not totally sure. But it was 0.8 something. His best defense ever was 0.87. So which means that in a moment, in one half, this horrible Alabama defensive team played as good as any team he's ever coached at Alabama defensively. That's what we need, to your point, J-Rob. They did it for a half.
And, we have played.
They did it for a half. They did it for a half. Can they do it for an entire game? There's nothing.
That's exactly what we need.
Nothing to say. Absolutely, totally agree with you. Thanks, J-Rob. Appreciate you, man. You got anything else before we let you go?
Yep. You guys have a great
Roll
weekend.
Tide. Hey, you got a score for us?
Roll Tide.
Oh, I think 97-95.
I'm assuming you got Bama.
Bama.
Thanks, J-Rob. All right, Philip, you're in on the Alabama One hotline. You actually wanted to address the question of the day. What you got for us?
Yes, sir. Alabama wins if they play with extreme poise. Extreme poise. As you know, there'll be rough seas during the game. There are going to be cycles where it doesn't look good for us and it looks great for them. And it's going to be cycles where hopefully they go through some rough patches. But there'll be several cycles in that game where it looks like all is lost. And then, good things start to happen. That's basketball. But Alabama's got to keep that to a minimum, play with extreme poise, and then I think everything will fit into place if that happens.
Virgil Williams always calls it the snowball effect. He just typed it in. It says play fast, but control strong. Play control strong defense and short-term memory. No snowball effect. And that's you're saying the same thing is. You just can't let it build. You can't let them getting on a short run on offense for them impact our offense. And that's what's happened when this team gets blown out is they drop the ball on defense because their offense isn't going. They need to play both for 40 minutes. It's going to take a 40-minute game, 2 halves, which will have runs both ways, and we'll see what happens from there. Do you have a score, Philip?
Alabama 107-102.
I don't know if there's any defense being played in that game. That sounds like an NBA game right there.
It's going to be that way. I think that I've been thinking a lot about it, and I've just been having, as they say, visions.
Hey, congratulations, Philip. How did it go last Saturday?
Well, it went great. Never in my wildest dreams I think I'd be going through the confirmation in the Catholic Church while Alabama was playing at 64 years of age, following Alabama this long, and I missed the game, but it was great. I did stink my phone out one time during the middle of a fairly lengthy service. I put it by my leg, and I was able to check the score a couple of times while the service was sort of going on and on and on. But I will admit to that.
You're going to get excommunicated after this call, Philip.
Well, I thought I might get excommunicated while I was sitting in the pew. But I made it through. But it went good. And And I'll be seeing you soon. I'm going to come up to Tuscaloosa soon and get that
Come on,
swag
man.
bag.
Hey, Philip, I could just here's this is what I'm glad did not happen to you, and I'll let you go. You know how you pull your phone out and you think the volume's off, and a video pops up, and there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris Stewart and Brian Passing all of a sudden being on in the oh my gosh.
Hey, it'd been perfect with Chris
Stewart. Yeah,
it'd been perfect if Chris Stewart had been yelling his famous saying, "Let's get out of here."
Oh my goodness! Oh my Lord! Oh my God! Yeah, that would have been perfect. All right.
Thanks, Philip, man. Congratulations. And hey, listen, if you're at 64 getting confirmed, then Alabama definitely has a chance to beat UConn. Roll Tide, man. Coming back on the other side, we'll keep the conversation rolling. We have a few more comments. Eggs, I want to get your 3-point shot. I want you guys to be thinking about what's your biggest concern for Alabama football. And then, of course, we can take score predictions. Jet Cohen saying 85-80 Bama. And then Virgil Williams making a small correction. And he says his 3-point shot is play fast but controlled, play great defense, and have a short-term memory. Man, I'm telling you, that short-term memory may be as big a deal as anything that Alabama has to do if they're going to get out with the win tomorrow. The phone lines are open. Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904. Hey, don't forget about Taco Casa. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. 50 years, man. They're celebrating 50 years of doing it the right way, under the biggest cactus in town. So go check them out for lunch and or dinner. Visit Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-temperature performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through April 23rd, get a $15 gift card when you buy 5 or more quarts of Edge or Edge High Mileage Full Synthetic, only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Claim based on Sequence 3 H test versus API SP test limits.
I have to confess, I was very excited to call 911. Finally, a good one, and I realize that while what I'm about to say is true, it sounds suspicious. So I'm like, my wife fell down the stairs.
From his multiple Netflix specials, comedian Tom Segura brings his new tour, Come Together, to Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater Friday, August 30th. Tickets on sale now at tomsegura.com/tour.
Something big is cooking during Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot with the Weber Jumbo Joe Premium Charcoal Grill. We're talking almost 2 feet across big. That's 13 burgers at once big. Right now, get the Weber Jumbo Joe Premium Charcoal Grill for just $99.98 and bring that classic charcoal experience to your cookout. Buy it online and pick it up in store to get to grilling sooner. Go big during Spring Black Friday with the Weber Jumbo Joe Premium Charcoal Grill, now just $99.98 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select in-stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 555 and get 15% off your first purchase with code 555, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 555 for 15% off your first purchase. With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free with Lumi's 60-day money-back guarantee. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 555. to save 15% today.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. I want to encourage you to go to alabama1.org, alabama1.org. You can find out all the great things that Alabama has. And under the What's New tab, you can check out longer term, lower payments, drive the one you want. Click there and learn more, get all the details. You can get longer terms, lower payments, and also 60 days no pay, so you can save those first couple of payments. Also, membership has its advantages. The one account that fits your need. There's several different accounts we're advertising there. High yield checking, which earns 2% interest, and with enhancements can get as high as 5.2% on a checking account. Relationship and membership with us has its advantages. There's several other types of accounts that we're advertising there. A 4% savings account that will give you 4% interest, and there's no early withdrawal fee. So go check it out. And of course, our free checking account where you can avoid the fees. There is no direct deposit required to get all the great features of that free checking account. Those things and a lot more. Golf tournament coming up June 13th for you guys who love to play golf. Go get some details at alabama1.org. That's Alabama1 together. All right, X. The phone lines are open, guys. 205-342-9904. Go check it out there. Give us a call. We do have some comments over on the chat, so let's look at those, and we'll work through those conversations. Couple football 3-point plays or complete the statement interaction. CJ Watson says his 3-point shot. Take care of the ball. When Bama doesn't turn the ball over much, Bama is very good. They make possessions count, and it takes pressure off when they take care of the ball. That, in my mind, is the biggest thing Bama can do. Then see, Jed Cohen says, take care of the ball, hit our shots at a high percentage, play tough defense, bring UConn big man away from the lane like Bama attacked UNC. We must take advantage when UConn big man is out of the game. That's his opinion. One more. See, CJ Watson, another thought on it. Take care of the ball. Have to shoot well and rebound with a couple exclamation points, second chances for us, and minimize theirs. That's just a few. What are your thoughts? What's your 3-point shot / complete this statement thoughts, X?
For Alabama to win versus Connecticut, they cannot let the big runs happen. We saw what they did against Clemson, a crazy 30-0 run. Do I think something like that will happen again? Absolutely not.
You mean UConn against Illinois?
All right, Illinois. Yeah, because we played Clemson against Illinois. They're both orange. Yeah, orange is ugly. I think we can't let big runs happen. We can't let a run happen like the run against Clemson happen, because I think UConn can take advantage of that. But play smart, play fast, play controlled are the three things that I think Alabama has to do.
All right. I'm going to let you say Bama plays for a natty if what that statement is. But, hey, Justin, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, my three, I feel like everybody's kind of saying the same thing, but I'm going to give a little bit more specific. We need to make the 3. We made 16 against Clemson, which was relatively high for us. I believe we averaged somewhere in the 12, 13 range. I need to check that stat. I think we need to make at least 17 threes because I think we need the same, if not better, shooting level that we had against Clemson to beat them. We need to limit turnovers to less than 9. And then the key part is going to be defense, of course, and clinging in the paint. And I think we need to stay out of foul trouble in doing so.
Good shot. So Bama wins the Natty if, Xavier. Bama wins the Natty if.
Bama wins the Natty if Mark Sears and Latrell Wright sale have big games.
That was old school. You pull that one out. How do you define a big game?
Mark's got to hit his spot. He's got to get his 20 to 25, which I think he's extremely capable of doing. And I almost said it again. Right sale has to. If Right sale goes from 15 to 18, I think that's big because I think the other guy and there will be one of those Pringle, Nelson, Stevens. Somebody else is going to have a big game. That third guy, that member of the trio, whoever it is.
All right. Do you want to just give a one statement? One answer. Complete this statement. Justin, Bama plays for Natty if.
Sure, Bama plays for the Natty if Pringle and Grant Nelson combine for 30.
Woo! That's good stuff right there, man. I mean, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. Here's my 3-point shot. My first 3-point shot, guys, is we have to start fast. This is the one team we cannot start slow against. If we let them get a run, you're not. And I hope if it happens, I hope I'm wrong. But do either one of you think if we let them get off to a double-digit lead that we can make them crack and come back and catch them early?
No.
Early. If it happens early, I don't think so. What about you, Justin? You think we can come back? I think this is one team you can't do that against.
Yeah, if the double digit is like 10 points.
Early.
If it's 11, probably
if it's early. Yeah, I mean, after a game's been going back and forth, you can chase somebody down just because you may have already built some confidence, right? But if they come out,
yeah, that's why I said we can't let them do what Clemson did. We can't be down 26.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This team, guys. The craziness is that UConn they've led everybody by 30 points at some point. I think I heard a stat say in every game this year. Let that sink in. That's crazy. So I don't think it's all about what Alabama does. My second 3-point conversion is they have to make UConn uncomfortable. They have to make UConn uncomfortable. And the only way I know they can do that is spread them out on the offensive end. Just literally, almost the old 5-out offense where Glenn has to come out, where he can't just sit. Make him chase Grant Nelson. This to me, what people do to Grant Nelson is they make him be physical on the offensive end. On the defensive end. Let's make their big man chase on the defensive end. To me, I think that if you can get a guy's legs, make him chase, make him uncomfortable, make them – and the only way to do that is if our threes are falling. Last but not least, all of the things you guys have said, totally 100% I agree with. There's so many things that can and can't go wrong. But somehow I think Nate Oates and this staff have to coach their best game. They have to know how to use their timeouts. They have to know when to use their timeouts. They have to know all of those things, to stop runs, to ignite runs, to do all of those. So Bama wins. Bama plays for a natty if all of that advice, I love – y'all know what Natos did? Virgil mentioned that he called Nick Saban and asked him. But did you hear about him calling the other coaches who were not playing well? He called Jim Boeheim from Syracuse. He called Frank Wright, who used to be at South Carolina, and said, "How do you do it?" And I say that this team has somehow caught the right time, the right flavor, whatever you want to, Mudita, whatever you want to call it. And tonight they have to play the best team basketball that they've played all year. Bama plays for a natty if this is the best overall team ball, offensive, defensive, rebounding. And if Bama wins the rebounding game, they're playing for a natty. So, closing thoughts before we get to break, X, and we'll come back on the other side with a little football talk.
The rebounds, I think, are going to be the biggest part of it, and I think that nails it. If Alabama can win, and you look at how they rebounded the last couple games, they definitely can do it.
And as we go to break, if Bama had not given up so many offensive rebounds in the last couple of games, we'd have blown those teams out. We kept them in. And guys, I hope the officials don't come into play in this game. I hope they are a non-issue. I think, unfortunately, I don't trust college sports. And I think they want to see an Edie versus Huskies matchup. And I think you may see the officials play that. So I probably should have said Bama plays for a natty if the officials stay out of the game. Coming back on the other side, we'll answer the question of the day. What is your biggest concern for Alabama football? X, you and Justin get your score prediction ready as well.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Very light slowdowns on Highway 69, getting between County Highway 56 and 15th Street. About a 12-minute ride through the I-20-59 interchange, problem-free. I-359 traffic, 2 minutes between Highway 11 and 20 and 59. Traveling Highway 82, under 10 minutes there between Airport Road and Jack Warner Parkway. I'm Joshua Delsh.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning, a dead male was reportedly found inside a partially submerged vehicle in a pond. According to Walker County Sheriff's Office, they believe foul play is involved in the death. The vehicle was found just off Homestead Road in the community of Dogtown between Spring Hill and Carbon Hill in Walker County. The investigation continues as to the cause of death. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather throughout the day. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. The Martin Houston Show.
Join the Martin Houston Show, powered by Max Sports, for a Monday edition of the program. We'll add Kennington Smith III to the conversation, and we hope to be talking about Alabama playing for a national championship. We'll talk about that. We'll also review what happened in Alabama's second scrimmage as we now head directly into Alabama's A-Day, April 13th, with Kalen DeBoer and this 2024 Alabama football Crimson Tide team. Those conversations and more right here on your home for Alabama Sports, Tide 100.9 and 1230 a.m. WTBC.
Catch the Martin Houston Show from 6 to 7 weekday mornings on Tide 100.9.
Townsend Nissan is your #1 dealer, and they'll beat any written offer or pay you $1,000. Keeping you #1 keeps Townsend Nissan #1. See dealer for details.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend.
It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
St. Louis brought the world gooey butter cake. Now Bluebell brings us gooey butter cake ice cream. A cake batter ice cream with a luscious cream cheese swirl and gooey butter cake pieces. It's the gateway to the best in pints and half gallons.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Walmart supercenters and Walmart neighborhood markets.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely.
Totalmente.
Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate with autopay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's now time for the Harvest Church 2-minute warning. Harvest Church, where we love God, love people. Invite you to join us on Sunday. This Sunday is a great time to make that decision. Come see us at 10 a.m. for Word and Worship, Bible study time at 9 a.m. Love to have you come out and be a part of what's happening at Harvest Church, hctuscaloosa.com. That's Harvest Church. Loving God and loving people, and we love the opportunity to love on you. All right, X, just a couple quick catch-ups on what's happening with the basketball. Just one other quick statement. Timothy Robinson, three-point shot was, if we are patient, don't turn the ball over, defend, and shoot over 40%, we win 85-79. So that's Timothy Robinson's thoughts there. What's your question? You had something real quick you wanted to address when we came back from break from earlier segment. Go ahead and knock that out.
Yeah, RS Sports was asking about Anthony Rogers, who played last year at IMG, transferred back here to the state of Alabama, where he's originally from, to play at Carver High School. Smaller running back, 5'8". He's been committed to Alabama for a while. Hasn't seemed to waver much with this new coaching staff. Talks about Georgia potentially trying to flip him. It's so early in the process, you don't really know where everything shakes out. I think it kind of depends on where Alabama goes with the rest of this running back class, as well as what Georgia does with the running back class, to see if there'll be any moves. But as far as right now, he seems to be locked into the Crimson.
All right, RS Sport also asked a question about, has Nate Oates recently signed an extension? The answer to that is yes. He asked that because of Musselman heading to USC, which leaves an Arkansas job open. Let's just hope that they don't come ask for another Alabama coach. Because right now, because Ryan Panan has led a couple of teams at the NBA level, and been an NBA coach. And has done a great job with Alabama, so he very well could be one of those candidates. But we'll watch it and we'll see what happens there. What's your biggest concern or question of the day? What's your biggest concern for Alabama football?
For me, it's probably the continuity of the offensive line. That would be my biggest question. Seems like the quarterback, wide receivers, running back, tight end, we kind of know where that's shaking out to be. Defense, or in the secondary, figuring out where the young guys are going to fit into that mix. So the offensive line, who's going to be that first team that we see out on A-Day, and then who's the first group of we're going to see in the secondary on A-Day as well.
Justin, what's your biggest question, man?
I'm right there with X, the offensive line, but also I just really want to see, especially come A-Day this next week, how the offense and defense have adopted and grown in this system that Coach DeBoer is installing.
Absolutely. And I think right now the defense sets ahead of the offense. The question is our offense struggling because our defense is really good? Or is our defense looking really good because our offensive tackles are struggling? Specifically, when I say offensive line, it's the tackles. It's the tackle positions. I think we probably have as strong a middle as any team in the country. If Brockermeyer's a starter, then the two guys to his left and right are the best two in the country. If Brailsfield is a starter, we have a guy that's proven himself at the highest level already. So offensive tackles would be my biggest concern going into tomorrow, and probably the biggest concern for this team overall. Because at the DB level, we have a lot of guys, but they seem to be really, really talented. I'm not sure what we have at tackle. If they don't have the ability to get the job done, it doesn't matter how many of them you have. So I think that's going to be the biggest question. And then, you know what, an interesting question is, we're not really talking about this, but who's going to be the backup to Jalen Milroe? Who's going to be that guy? I want to see which one of those guys step up. Will it be, Ty Simpson and Austin Mack? So we'll watch all those. And there's several other questions. One of the questions we haven't talked about, which I think will be huge in the 2024 season, is who will replace Will Reichard? Will he be able to handle that? So, X, what you got for a score?
Oh, man, I've got Alabama taking this in a hard-fought game. I'm going to go with the number that seems to be lucky for us. I'm going to say 89-84.
What you got, Justin?
85-83 Alabama, take the over.
And I have 91-90, and it may be a little OT. If I miss it, it may be a little OT tomorrow night, but got Bama playing for Natty. I understand that that's definitely some crimson colored glasses, but I hope that they are good to us just one more time. Hey, who you got in the Purdue game?
I hope DJ Burns wears Zach Edey out, but the calls are you can't go against Purdue with the way they
really quick over
calls.
Under on fouls for Edey. Fouls called for Edey.
For him? Ooh, 9.
And I'm going to go over. I'm going to go that it'll be double-digit fouls called against North Carolina State to benefit Edey. Hey, remember that this is the Martin Houston Show. I'm Martin. That's Xavier. That's Justin. We do it every Monday through Friday. Check us out at Alabama Sports with Martin Houston on Facebook. Trust in the Lord always. Lean not on your own understanding. All yours acknowledge him. And roll tide out there, everybody. He will make your path straight. We'll see you on Monday, hopefully talking about Bama playing for a natty.
It's a celebration.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.